Hey everybody, this is Tom from Rocket Restorations, and today we're going to share with you a very cool 1968 Charger RT. And as you all know, we love cars with stories, and this, as a lot of the cars we come to the shop, has a really good one. So this one starts out in 1968 at Fern Holmes Dodge in Long Beach, California. So our customer Ray, his mom and dad went into the dealership in 1968 and ordered up a brand new 68 Dodge Charger RT. And apparently they wanted a hemi car, but they said you could only order a hemi car with a stick, which of course, as we know now, is not true, but that's what they told him. And it was going to be his mom's daily driver, and she couldn't drive a stick, so they ordered an automatic. What could have been? This could have been a hemi car, but it's pretty cool because it stayed in the family this whole time. So mom daily drove this thing, and he also said that they wanted an AM FM, but the salesman told him the FM was just a fad. It was going to go away. So they ended up getting a 440 automatic with AM radio. So yeah, so Ray, the owner of this car, his mom daily drove this through the 70s. She was a stay-at-home mom till middle school, and drove Ray to school every day in this thing. And you know, and then by the 80s it was starting to get a little bit tired, and they bought a Cutlass in 1980, and this thing just kind of started sitting. The choke didn't work, it was getting a little cranky when it started up, so the car just sat for a few years. They parked in their front lawn and it sat. They moved to Washington at some point around then, and Ray actually drove this to school as his driver in the late 80s. Imagine having this. I mean, I guess in the 80s it wasn't quite like it would have been in nowadays to daily drive a Charger to school, but this would have been a super cool daily driver. So the owner Ray, around 1990, ended up going in the Navy, and then his dad restored the car about then. And you know, he did a pretty good job. It needed, you know, a little bit here and there. Had a couple holes in the floor pan, and a little bit in the trunk, a little bit in the quarters, and all that was fixed. And then it just, you know, it was kind of their restored car. And then his dad passed away a few years ago, and Ray inherited the car, and he decided to do some work on it. So we got this car in 2021 and just had a whole litany of things to do on it. It was just, you know, when the restoration was done, it was done to the best of their ability, and you know, in the early 90s, but you know, there just weren't any reproduction parts available at the time. You had to find used parts. So it had, you know, one little piece of the grill missing, and you know, needed brakes, just needed kind of everything gone through on it. So that's what we did. That's kind of what we specialize. We make these things fixed up and get them working really well. So we did a bunch of work to it at that point. That was just after the pandemic. You know, a lot of people were coming in, and we're so lucky to have a fantastic roster of customers that they're passionate about their cars, and you know, they just let us get our work done on it, and we really appreciate that. And Ray, like most of our customers, you know, we tend to see the car every year or two, just because there's always little things that go wrong with it. And this time, what happened was Ray was driving down the road, and the top piece of chrome trim flew off on the highway. And unfortunately, he did not recover it, so we had to find some more window trim for it. So luckily, you know, unlike when this car was restored, a lot of this stuff is available reproduction now. So he bought the AMD windshield trim, and the windshield was replaced in the 80s, and so we ended up replacing that, put a new gasket in, fixed that. So that's all sealed now and all good to go. The AC defroster didn't work. He recovered the buddy seat here. He's still going to do the back seat, which actually isn't too bad, but he wanted to put new covers on it, so we're still waiting for that. But the car is pretty much done, so it's going to go back to him pretty soon here. It's a factory AC car, which is kind of cool. None of that worked, and he's removed the AC stuff, but the heater and defroster didn't work, so we got that working. A couple of the AC pods weren't working, so we got that fixed. His mom picked the color. She loved the blue, and they did not like the bumblebee stripes. They specifically did not get a bumblebee on it. I really like bumblebees on Charger RTs, but I understand. They want to look clean and look in the vinyl top. It's got aftermarket 15-inch magnums on it, which is a good look on a Mopar. I think it's a good looking wheel. This is just a real solid, nice driving car. It is really fun to drive. You know, it's a real RT. It's got the 440 in it, and you know, you go on it and it really kicks in the butt going down the road. It's a lot of fun. here's the underhood of the car. You know, he's done some tasteful modifications to it. So it's got, you know, dual diaphragm booster with the GM style master cylinder on it. You know, aluminum intake, but, you know, pretty stock otherwise. It's got an aftermarket radiator in it. You know, body numbers are there. Everything matches there. You know, all the AC stuff, the lines are there, but they took the compressor off. He took all that stuff off because he didn't want to deal with it, which I understand. The Mopar AC systems work really, really well, but that RV2 compressor they use just takes a ton of horsepower going on the road. It just takes a ton of power when you're trying to drive that thing. It kills your mileage, and even just when it isn't working, it takes a lot of juice to get it to move. So, but we love working on this car. It's a real clean West Coast car. You know, original LA. It's been up in Washington for a number of years. We had the heater valve rebuilt, which is right there where the hose goes in, the silver thing. That's the heater valve, so that controls how much water is going inside. So it goes from the engine through there, then goes to that bypass hose into the heater core, and we got that working around pretty well. So it's got an electric choke. I think it's got a 750 Edelbrock on it, which is kind of my favorite carburetor. Those just tend to work really, really well. The electric choke, you just don't have to worry about it. They just work really well. Has the correct chrome breather cap on it. You know, the part numbered hose. So this isn't like an OE, you know, 100% stock build, but you know, it's truthful to itself. You know, this is one that he just wants to drive. You know, they put a vacuum pump on it to make sure that the headlights work good, and there's just a lot of small tasteful modifications of this to make it easier to drive. You know, it's got disc brakes now, and front end's been done, steering box has been done, and it drives really, really nice. That's the prison bus. There's a prison up in the woods around here. No headrests, they were optional on these. It does have the shoulder belts. That was standard after January 1st, 68, I think, was shoulder belts. Headrests were 69. It's the base steering wheel. Good looking wheel with a half horn ring on it. It's got a tack. You know, the 150 Speedo that all Chargers got. You know, I love Chargers. I still think 70 is my favorite year, but I'm a little biased because my first Mopar I ever had was a 70 Charger, so I'm definitely biased on that, but I love them. Love the license plate too. 68 Charger custom plate. I think he's had that one for a while. All right, I'm sure you're all telling me, what's it like to drive? Fantastic, I'll show you. We got the clock working on this. It's real important when the cars leave us that everything works on them. All right, pump. A little bit of extra gas when it starts, but oof, man, it sounds good. All the gauges work. Temp gauge right at 200 after running for a little bit, perfect. Oil pressure reads a little bit low. Just takes a minute to come up. Alternator works good. Radio. So we just got all this working, so now he's got defroster now. Hear the AC box clunk. Got defrost now, finally. He hasn't had a heater in this thing since, well, probably the 80s. So we got all that working now. All right, let's go for a little test drive here. There's kind of a cool spot here. It's kind of a place by our house. It's called Mima Mountains Natural Preserve. It's these little like hills everywhere. It's like this whole area, and they're really not sure what caused it. They're basically made out of gravel with grass on top of them. They think like our area is kind of where the ice sheet ended during the ice age, and they think it's like when the ice sheets melted, it flooded this area and caused them. But it's kind of cool. There's a nice nature trail over on the other side, but it's kind of fun taking videos over here because it's a cool looking area. All right. I don't know what the exhaust is on this, but it sounds really, really good. All right, let's hit it. Kickdown works great. Down, it kicks you in the butt. Tach works too, and actually looks like it reads right. A lot of these don't. This is our test loop road. It's a real nice straight 55-mile-an-hour road, so you can get them up to speed. We can take them out to the freeway, but it's like 3-4 miles to the freeway from here, so we can just take it on this loop, kind of get it up to speed, see if there's any vibrations, any problems. This thing was running really good when it came in, so we didn't really have to worry about that, but you know, you always got to test drive them, you know, for reasons. So Good reason why we test drive these things is for stuff like this. For whatever reason, I think the turn signal switch is broke on this thing. Now, this thing was like pretty much ready to deliver, so we'll have to add that to the list. But yeah, it's kind of limp now. It's not really doing anything, so I have to pull the steering wheel off and look and see what's going on there. But that's why you test drive them, to make sure everything works on them. Because when a car leaves my shop, it's mechanically working 100%, unless the customer asks us not to. It not only looks good, it sounds fantastic. I had to show you guys what this thing sounds like from the back. I gotta ask Ray. Ray's a avid watcher of our videos, so we'll have him comment what the exhaust is. I'm not sure, but it sounds really good. I mean, you want to have that 440 rumble with the Charger. It sounds really good. 68 Charger is such a great looking car, and being a real RT just puts it over the top. I love the open grille. 68 is probably my second favorite year. 70 is my first because that's what I had. 69, I don't know, Dukes of Hazzard, it's been done. 68 is my favorite. I don't like the bump in the middle, and I really like the taillights. I mean, very end of 60s rocket jets. I mean, look at those things. It looks like jet exhaust coming out the back. Just what a great look. You know, when we had this in 2001, like a lot of the stuff we fixed is like the black wasn't blacked out. You know, all this stuff was broken and pitted. We fixed all of this stuff back here, and it's just, you know, a lot of people don't know the correct finish on this is supposed to be Organosol, so it actually has a bit of a texture to it. A lot of people just do gloss black on there, and it looks terrible. Like, when Chrysler did this, it wasn't just for production reasons. A lot of this stuff was for, it's like the cowl blackout. It's for design reasons, aesthetic reasons. They did it on 70 Chargers. You get a real cheap one that doesn't have the finish panel on it, that just has a painted tail panel on it, and it just looks terrible on these cars. You know, these little details make all the difference in the world. The cowl blackout, the blackout on the back, having that little stuff just makes the car look so much better. Another real often missed piece on a Charger. So it's supposed to have blackout inside the scoops here, and those are just stickers. It's not anything fancy paint, they're just stickers. But like, if you ever see a Charger without those and you look at them and you look at it, it just doesn't look right, because it isn't right. I love Chargers. They're just getting so expensive. I've had a few over the years, and we just had that 69 here for a while, and I love that car, but they're just getting so expensive. It's hard to justify keeping one anymore. It's a lot of money, but man, what a great car. So we love old paperwork, so we thought we'd show you what was in the glove box. So originally when you bought a car, you got a little folder like this with the owner's manual and the customer care warranty. And these were in there too, which is kind of cool. Allstate Crusader policy. I kind of wonder how old that is. It's got some age to it, I can tell you that. It's pretty cool. And then here's how to order service manuals from Chrysler. This one looks like it's a little bit later. It's got 87 on it, so it's probably from the 80s. But you know, that's probably about when he was going to restore it. Ray's dad, and you know, he bought service manuals for it. Here's the warranty car care card. So customer care warranty for 1968 passenger cars. First registered owner. And it's correct for all cars except for 426 Hemi. 426 Hemi got its own unique one. This is kind of just the basic stuff. First oil change, maintenance, stuff like that. What's cool at the back is they have owner and vehicle information. So Raymond Crawford. There's the VIN, XS29 L8B 415943. X is Charger, S is RT, 29 is fastback roof, which all Chargers had. L is the 440 4-barrel, 8 is the year, 1968. B is Hamtramck, and the last 6 is the sequence number of the car. It's a pretty late build car, so it was delivered on 6/28/68 to Vern Holmes Inc. And the authorized selling dealer number was 54577. The city was Long Beach, California. And then here is this is the owner's manual, operating instructions. This has all sorts of good information in it. Lap belts, how to do your remote mirror, the day and night mirror, how to lock and unlock your doors if you didn't know. It's pretty basic. That's funny. So this is a B body one, but actually shows an A body. Oh, that's dealer installed air conditioning. Okay. Yeah. The correct way to change the wheel. Take the hubcap off. Tighten lug nuts. Here's the capacity. So 19-gallon fuel tank, 4 quarts of engine oil, plus the filter. That's for a trailer hitch. Speedo cluster lights, tail lights. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It shows you all the correct bulbs for the tail lights. A lot of people don't know that, well, actually, this is 68, never mind. 69, there's actually 2 different bulbs in the tail lights. That's how to, shipping label. That's to get a service manual. And a lot of people don't know, so this is what's called a Certicard. So they use these from the early 60s until 68. A lot of people don't know that these were available on a 68. And basically what these were, so when you got your warranty work done, they had a big form and had a blank on the upper left-hand corner. So you put this in the warranty card and they would swipe it like an old credit card machine. And then that would be on your warranty paperwork. And this has the VIN on it, which is XS29L8B. And then the left bottom one is the interior code, which is C6X. Charger, 6 is bucket seats, X is black. LL1 is the paint, turquoise. T5 is the transmission, which is automatic. 3 would be 4-speed, 1 would be 3 on the tree. SG you don't see very often. That means sure grip. I'm trying to remember what non-sure grip was. I think it was SA, but SG means it had a factory sure grip rear end. And then the 0611 is the SPD. So this thing was ordered and picked up pretty quickly. It was, the scheduled production date was on 6/11, and it was picked up on 6/28. So it was scheduled, produced, shipped in a couple weeks. I mean, it may have been shipped a little bit early. SPD is just a scheduled date. It's not a firm date, but yeah, this one was ordered and got out pretty quick to Ray Crawford on 6/68. It's pretty cool. You don't see these on 68s very often. On the earlier cars, there was an envelope in the engine bay they went into. And these, they were in the owner's manual. So the owner's manual ever got lost. And these would just get lost to the owner's manual sometimes too. You wouldn't see them. So just thought you'd all like to see some of the original paperwork for it. It's really nice seeing this stuff and really documents the history of the car. Well, I want to thank the owner, Ray, for letting us work on his car and letting us do videos on it. I said he's an avid watcher of our channel, loves watching them. I love working on your car, Ray. This thing is fantastic to drive. It's fantastic to work on. Just got a couple more things to finish and we'll get it back to you. If you guys live in the Seattle area, Ray drives this thing everywhere. It'll be at all the shows this summer because you know what? That's what these things are for. You got to drive them. If they sit in a garage as a trophy queen, I mean, there's a time and a place for that for restoration, but a car like this, drive it and enjoy it. It's original family owned 1968 Dodge Charger RT. I don't think it gets much better than this. Thanks everybody for watching. This is Tom from Rocket Restorations, and we'll talk to you soon.